Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like to thank the briefer and welcome the ministers who joined us today and the new members of the Security Council. Mr. President, from the first day of the war in Gaza, Israel has been clear before this council about its goals. We had two goals: every hostage home, Hamas disarmed. With the return of Ran Gvili, I can finally say that the first goal has been achieved. Every hostage been brought home. What many believed was impossible is now a fact. We said we would bring them home, all of them, no matter how long it took. Now, for the first time since 2014, there is not a single Israeli hostage held in Gaza. This achievement was secured by the brave soldiers of the Israeli Defense Forces, young men and women who stepped forward with incredible determination, resolve, and courage. They defended our people. They brought our hostages home. They did so under fire, under pressure, and under relentless scrutiny, including from within this very chamber. Israel owes them a profound debt. The world owes them one as well. This effort was also driven and sustained by the leadership of the United States. The peace framework advanced by President Donald Trump and his administration created a path forward. Today, for the first time in 843 days, I sit in this chamber without the yellow hostage pin on my lapel. Everyone in Israel wore it, until yesterday. This is a moment of deep national significance for Israel. This moment also carries a message far beyond Israel. Western liberal democracies do not cave to terrorists. They do not reward mass murder. They do not trade their values for silence. The message is clear for every terrorist organization watching us. Kidnapping civilians does not bring legitimacy. Violence does not deliver political gains. Terror does not win. Israel now advances its second goal with the same determination and clarity. Hamas must be disarmed. The next steps are grounded in phase 2 of the peace plan, supported by Israel, key international players and partners, and this Security Council. Phase 2 is written. It is structured. It provides for the establishment of a responsible governing framework for Gaza. There are positive signs. However, one obstacle remains: Hamas disarmament. The choice now rests with Hamas. Acceptance of full disarmament enables progress. Refusal places full responsibility on Hamas for the consequences. Clarity is essential about what disarmament actually means. Disarmament does not mean staged handovers for cameras. It does not mean weapons hidden underground while promises are made above ground. There is no real disarmament until Hamas's military infrastructure is dismantled. That includes weapons, command centers, and terror tunnels. No economic rebuilding can take place while Hamas remains armed. No civilian future can exist while a terrorist army controls Gaza. A genocidal terrorist organization should not have any weapons. Hamas understands this reality. That is why it delays, that is why it deceives. But don't just take Israel's word for it. Hamas put this in writing. In the final days of last year, Hamas released this manifesto, very impressive one. This document, a copy of which was sent to all of your missions this morning, removes all doubt about Hamas's real intentions. They wrote it. It wasn't us. In this document, it says very clearly, it rejects disarmament, it rejects giving up political power, it denies the atrocities of October 7th, It justifies and glorifies its mass murder. Hamas even boasts about its strategy and diplomacy. In its own words, it calls one of the achievements of October 7th the collapse, and I quote, of Israel's image as a Western democracy. That tells you everything. This is not the language of peace, even when dressed up as diplomacy. It is a roadmap for future violence. Do not fall into Hamas's playbook. Do not let its propaganda write your talking points. Hamas still remains heavily armed. Let me show you the numbers. It still holds thousands of rockets, anti-tank missiles, and tens of thousands of Kalashnikov rifles. In total, Hamas still holds roughly 60,000 assault rifles. These weapons are used not only against us, against Israel, but against Gazans who oppose Hamas rule. This is not a movement preparing for peace. This is a terrorist army preparing for its next war. Israel has fully implemented phase 1 of the agreement. Since the beginning of the October ceasefire, the volume of aid has increased sharply. Let's take a look at the numbers. More than 33,000 trucks have entered Gaza since October 10, 2025. They delivered over 850,000 tons of food, 8,300 tons of medical supplies, more than 420,000 tents. Every week, more than 4,200 trucks enter Gaza. 12 field hospitals are operating today. Israel does not limit UN assistance and has invited agencies to increase daily deliveries. Israel has opened all major crossings into Gaza and earlier this week announced the reopening of the Rafah crossing. Aid is flowing, coordination continues. Mr. President, while attention remains fixed on Gaza, another crisis demands urgency. Iran. The Ayatollah regime is brutally repressing and murdering its own people. Behind 20 days of internet and telephone shutdowns and blackouts, civilians demanding freedom are executed, arrested, and silenced. Reports now indicate fatalities exceeding 30,000. That number should shock this council. Imagine for 1 minute a Middle East without this regime. Think about it for 1 minute. Billions of dollars would no longer be spent funding terror. Lebanon can regain its sovereignty finally from the claws of Iranian-backed Hezbollah. Syria could stop serving as an Iranian weapons corridor and move towards stability finally. Palestinians in Gaza and Judea and Samaria could focus on improving their lives instead of being trapped by armed radicals. The problem is not the people of the region. The problem is the regimes and militias that profit from chaos. Look at Yemen. Yemen offers another clear example of how the Iranian regime exports hate. The Houthis are not fighting over borders. They have no border with us. They have no border with the US. They have no border with most countries here. They are not fighting over land. The flag tells the entire story. Look at the flag of the Houthis. That's what it says in Arabic. Allah Akbar, Al-Maut li-America, Al-Maut li-Israel, Alana al-Yahud, Al-Nasr lil-Islam. In English, God is great, death to America, death to Israel, curse on the Jews, victory to Islam. That is the official flag of the Houthis. This is radicalism. It is insanity. That hatred did not originate in Yemen. It was cultivated, funded, and armed by Tehran. The Iranian regime diverted its own people's money to fund terror instead of providing basic needs. This is how the Iranian regime operates. It builds networks of violence and exports them across the Middle East and beyond. A regime that massacres its own people cannot be trusted to respect others. The world's most extreme regime must never obtain the world's most dangerous weapon. Israel has no hostility toward the people of Iran. Their courage is undeniable. Their struggle for freedom deserves support. Their future must be free of tyranny. Hope, however, is not a strategy. As Hamas is dismantled, the Iranian regime must be confronted with the same seriousness. The same clarity must apply. The same standards must hold. Israel's position is unmistakable. Every hostage was brought home. Hamas must now be dismantled completely. Gaza must be demilitarized and de-radicalized. Thank you, Mr. President.